Imagine building a city, not just with concrete and steel, but with code, with artificial intelligence. Well, today we're going to dive deep into the blueprint for something called the Forest Bay Area. It's a pretty radical vision for what could be the world's first true AI-powered microstate. So yeah, let's get right into it.
But let's just start with this one big question. I mean, seriously, what if your city, the infrastructure, the economy, every single asset, what if it wasn't run by human bureaucracy, but by one single, incredibly sophisticated AI? That's the core idea we're going to unpack here. All right, so let's get into the grand vision behind the Forest Bay Area, or FBA for short. And you should probably forget everything you think you know about smart cities, because this is aiming to be something else entirely.
So what is the FBA? Well, it's being engineered from the ground up as a special economic zone where literally everything is tokenized on a blockchain and the entire economy is managed by AI. You can kind of think of it like a startup society that has its own unique digital operating system. And here's the really clever part of their whole approach. They aren't just starting from scratch in the middle of a desert somewhere. Nope. The FBA is a strategic revitalization of an existing development in Malaysia called Forest City. And that's a huge deal, because it massively de-risks the whole project. They're building on a foundation that's already there.
So, you might be asking, why now? What's the big rush? Well, the FBA is basically designed to ride this massive wave in global finance that's really just starting to build.
And that wave, it's the tokenization of real-world assets, or RWAs. We're talking about things like real estate, art, private equity, you name it. Boston Consulting Group predicts this market is going to absolutely explode to $16 trillion by 2030. Now, that's not just a big number. That's about 10% of the entire planet's GDP. It's staggering. And make no mistake, this is not some fringe crypto thing anymore. The biggest financial players in the world are all in. BlackRock has a tokenized fund. Citibank is already running pilots, and the giants that run the plumbing of the financial world, like the DTCC and SWIFT, they're building the rails for all of this. The institutional money is here, and the FBA is positioning itself to be its brand new home. So how exactly does the FBA plan to become the go-to place for all of this? Well, its whole competitive edge is built on what the blueprint calls a three-layer advantage. The whole project really rests on these three interconnected pillars: its legal home, its tech stack, and its economic model. Each one is pretty powerful on its own, but the idea is that when you put them together, you create this unbeatable environment for digital assets. Let's break down how. Okay, first up, layer one, the jurisdiction, the legal side of things. The entire project is architected around the Labuan International Business and Financial Center in Malaysia. And this isn't some legal loophole, it's a framework that was purpose-built for exactly this kind of global innovation. And the advantages here are just massive. Get this, we're talking 0% tax on capital gains from digital assets, a teeny tiny 3% corporate tax on trading, 100% foreign ownership is allowed, and there's already a clear established licensing system. It's a package that almost feels custom-made for a project this ambitious. All right, layer two, the tech. And this is where things get really futuristic. At the heart of the whole project is the FBA.ai digital twin. The source material calls this the central nervous system of the city. And honestly, it's the perfect analogy. It's a real-time, verifiable digital copy of everything, and I mean everything, that's happening in the physical economic zone. But wait, how do you trust that the digital twin is actually accurate? Well, that's where this proof of physical state layer comes in. The best way to think of it is as a network of sensors, drones, and real-time data feeds that are constantly checking and verifying what's happening on the ground. This means the system runs on verified physical truth, not just on lines of code. And finally, layer three is the economy itself, a really slick 5-layer token ecosystem. First, you've got the FBA token for governance and fees. Then there's Bay Property, which lets you own a fraction of actual real estate. Bay Yield is how you collect income, like rent from those properties. Bay Carbon is for environmental assets, like carbon credits. And then you have Bay ID. This is what's known as a soul-bound token. Think of it like a digital passport that's tied to you and can't be transferred. It proves who you are in the system. Each token has a really clear job, and together they create this super functional digital economy. Okay, so that's the how. It sounds incredible, right? But what about the when? Well, the project has a very, very ambitious roadmap to turn this whole blueprint into a real functioning city.
They've got this wild 3-phase plan. In the first year, it's all about building the foundation and getting an initial $3 billion in assets tokenized. From there, it just accelerates, aiming for $10 billion by the end of year 2. And the ultimate goal? By the end of year 3, they want to hit a staggering $100 billion in tokenized assets, creating a truly self-sustaining digital microstate.
So when you step back and you put all of these pieces together, what you're really looking at is a potential paradigm shift in how we think about cities, real estate, and even economies. And this slide really hits the nail on the head. Think about traditional real estate. It's notoriously illiquid, it's opaque, it's slow, and there's so much friction. The FBA model is designed to be the exact opposite of all that. Liquid, completely transparent, automated, and hyper-efficient. Ultimately, the ambition here is so much bigger than just putting property on a blockchain. As this one quote from the source material puts it perfectly, the goal is to create an entirely new economic operating system.
So it all comes down to this one crucial question, right? Is this the actual blueprint for the city of the future? Or is it a grand utopian experiment that's pushing the absolute boundaries of technology and society? Only time's gonna tell. But one thing is for sure. It forces us to completely rethink what a city can even be.